Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Dr. Pratt, how are you?
Doing good, doing good. We're in June. Half the year is already gone.
I
So
know, crazy. So, we're back here today. I'm Antonia Allen, Dr. Pratt, you've just met, and we're here today and we're going to talk about a chapter in my book, Unlocking the Introvert, a pocket guide to understanding and interacting with introverts. It truly is a pocket guide filled with tips on how to if you're an introvert, how to learn more about yourself. And if you're not an introvert interested in learning more about us and our superpowers, this is good for you. It's a good gift. So today we're going to talk about celebrating an introvert.
but before we do, we're gonna celebrate new merch
Yay!
that I was happy to receive this week. A new shirt.
Yay!
It's like the other shirt, but same. Feels nice. It actually feels nice.
It does.
Feels really good. Yep, yep. It's
Yep.
light. It's light, and then the other thing too that I love about these type of shirts is that when you put your hand in, you don't feel you
Mhm.
don't feel itchiness. It's I love the little logo here. It's so cute.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, this is good. It's good quality.
Thank you.
Nice, nice stretchy material,
Yep.
and 100% cotton.
Yay! Get your merch at T-shirts and denim.
There you go.
And while we're at it, so we're wearing this shirt because this is actually our new podcast, right? So we were doing everything on Antonia's Blissful Corner, but we decided, you know what? We want to separate it because this is the place where we will come and introverts, like we'll just talk, like we'll just have a conversation.
Or
We'll
stare at the
have,
screen.
yes, and we'll have guests from time to time um, to chop it up with us about whatever topic we're talking about. Now, yes, we're always on mute because the reality of it is introverts are perceived to always be on mute. But just because we're on mute doesn't mean that we don't have a lot to say. Dr.
Or our
Pratt?
thoughts are not. Yep, our thoughts are speaking volumes and loud.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, so here we are, and again, today's topic is celebrating an introvert. That's chapter 10 in the book. Oh, by the way, the book you can purchase the book on societyofintroverts.com, Amazon, or anywhere books are sold online. So let's get right into it. So, um, I think, a lot of people don't know how to celebrate introverts, right? We are very easygoing. We do not like the whole foo foo la la. Um, and I thought that I was probably the only one. Like, I like a surprise here and there, but I don't like the big old like I will walk out. And I told somebody that before, like, do not try to surprise me because I usually figure things out anyway because people don't know how to be discreet. Like, we know
Right,
how to be
right.
discreet, but people don't know how to be discreet. And
It'll
like
take another introvert to get you.
yes, exactly. Take another introvert because they know the mind of an introvert. And I've told people, like, don't try to surprise me because if I walk in and it's a surprise, the surprise will be on you because I might leave. Because like we have to um I don't know, like we have to be okay with being in that space, being with people, being with certain types of people. And it's nothing against them, it's just our energy. Like, we have to basically know that our energy is in check, and ready to basically be in this environment.
Yeah, I think also you can't when the celebration is a physical celebration because it could be that night that you really want to unwind, binge watching, your favorite 1970s um, chips, or so you don't get to watch chips every day of the week. So it's just like Thursday from 7 to 12 you're watching chips.
Hmm.
It's like, and it's nostalgic, that. And then somebody pop up and say, "Hey, can you stop by my house and just to pick something up?" Like, it's chips night, but okay, I guess I will. And then you go there and it's like this thing, and you're like, throughout the throughout the night, you're thinking about, man, I can watch the chips, and pajamas, chilling. So it's that I think a lot of times in celebrating anybody, really, not just an introvert, you should really know the person
Yeah.
and know what they are um, what they value and what how their makeup is. Um, Sometimes I know my father was the type of person that he would cordially say thank you and enthusiastically say thank you, but then put the gift in his closet and not open it for another year or whatever. So I would take my father out for experiences more so than give him physical things, you know. Um, and then we have a talk about it. He loves to talk, even though he was a quiet person. It's weird, but
It's not weird.
yeah, it's weird. No, he was super quiet, but then he was always a talker, one on one. If you approach, it's almost like if you like, oh, you want to know what I think? Oh, blah, 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 blah. But if you were to, if he was in a crowd of people and they were, going around round robin, so to speak, he'd probably be last to speak, and he probably would reiterate what somebody else said,
Yep.
and like it would be like he would take a little bit of this person, a little bit of that person, compliment them, da da da. But you would never really, you still would be thinking like, what did what did what did he think? It's like he said some really good words and put some really good things. Anyway, my point was just that um, I knew that was his thing to talk, and for the most part, I always wanted to know what he thought about something. I was curious because he always said that he had a brilliant mind, so I would always call him and ask him a point, and he would. The funny thing about people is that when you do give them something they really appreciate, or you give them the thing, what it doesn't have to be a physical thing, he would always be appreciative at the end and would say thank you for he would thank me for wanting to know what he thought about and taking the time to talk to him. I'd be like, but you're my father, it's just, but the way he was raised and just his childhood, he just never really got the chance to express himself. If that
Yep.
makes sense. So knowing that about a person, I have a good friend that I won't name who doesn't like to receive accolades publicly, but does a lot for a lot of people.
Hmm.
So occasionally, maybe once every other year, I'll say something publicly about them, and I can tell they're cringing, like, why did you draw so much attention to me? Why are you telling everybody that what I do? It's like, because you do it public, like they live their life publicly, but they're a private person.
Yep.
So I think that one of our superpowers in general as human beings is that we don't acknowledge or center ourselves around.
Yep.
Is that you actually can, even if you're like, you have 5 followers and you didn't graduate high school or what have you, your voice does matter, and especially if it's a well thought out thought. Case in point, there's a reporter today that's just got suspended from ABC News for a statement that they made regarding the presidency. And what was really interesting to me, because I've always seen them as just like a person that reads the script, so I didn't really didn't think of them as somebody that
Have an opinion?
Yeah, right. And his opinion was spot on. He's like, it was delicious, and but ABC News immediately suspended. He tweeted it out. ABC News immediately suspended him indefinitely. So they're probably trying to hold on to him for another network and other stuff. But my point is that this kind of fade into the background, person who doesn't have necessarily a personality per se. His personality is that he doesn't have a personality, and then he makes this statement and he goes viral, and everybody in the world is reading this statement now. Like, yes, that's exactly how we all feel. That is, and it's like, wow, this guy who typically reads the script and just tells the news, doesn't express the news. That's what they teach you in journalism school. You're not supposed to make yourself part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, you're not supposed to make yourself part of the story. You're supposed to just convey the news, whatever the story is. He created a moment in time where the world is aligned with his statement. So my point is just that a lot of times we think that we don't have a voice, and if you're celebrating somebody, an introvert, but in general, people, that moment that you say, you know, they did this for me, or they are this type of person, even though it feels like it may not, you know, be that big of a deal, to the receiver who knows you,
Yeah.
and that you took time out to talk to them, talk about them publicly, that can be a huge thing. And at the same time, for an introvert, that could also be a huge turnoff. That said, I know my friend doesn't like it, but I do it just to poke them a little bit. And I don't do it, like I said, once a year, every other year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know they cringe. At the same time, they thank me, you know, privately. They'll be like, you didn't have to do that. Why you tell everybody this? But thank you. So knowing a person, really knowing them, I think is part of that celebration.
I think so. I can actually relate to that. I remember like when I first joined Facebook the first time,
Mm.
my sister used to, you know, be happy and proud to share my achievements. And I used to be like, oh God,
That's like,
why?
mm,
And my mom, you know, would say, because she's proud of you. And I'm like, but I don't need the world to know. Like,
right.
I was, you know, and I still like, I'm still sort of the same way. Like,
Older or younger sister?
she's older, right? But I'm from a place where if I'm doing something, I'm doing it from my heart. So I don't need it to be publicized.
Mm.
And there are times at church, because I used to, pre-COVID, I wouldn't say I lived there, but I was on just about every committee, helped out in
Pretty
every
much
single
ordained.
way. Yeah. You know, when it was time to do their website, because it was when I started going to that church, it was dated. And you know, I said, hey, like, what's going on with this site? We had a meeting, there was a group, and it ended up being a group of one. And when it was time to launch it, I said to the priest, I said, do me a favor, please do not call my name. Just say that it was done by the website committee. Because I
Mm.
feel like my blessings will come from above.
Right.
So I don't need the whole, you know. So there are times when if a group needed assistance, they knew that they can call on me because I never said no. And when it was time to dole out the, you know, the oh, thank you to this person, I would hide. Like, I've hid in the kitchen, I've hid on the tables, and it got to the point where, because I knew that they would come looking for me, I went to my car
I
and
was
I
gonna
fell
say you just
asleep.
laughed. I thought it was just laugh. So, see if I
I
say
went to the car, I couldn't leave because mommy was there, and
oh, okay.
because I was on
You're a ride.
the
You're a ride
fellowship.
the other way.
Well, that, but I'm on the fellowship committee, so I have to go back to help clean up afterwards. But I never used to like it,
You went to
and
the corner store. That's
right, I went in the car and I fell asleep. But you know, but I do think that it's important for people to learn, people in general, right? You
mm-hmm.
know, but also
Just can't get the image out there. You snoring.
Wait, you ever
We're
snore
not
so
going
hard
to
that you woke yourself up? You
Antonia,
know what?
Antonia, Antonia, wake
What's
up.
funny? What's funny is when I woke up, I looked over and I saw people leaving the church, and I said, oh, "Okay, now I can go back." Because I was
Mm.
like, I never liked it. You know, I'm growing to appreciate, right? So being in the mentorship committee, in the mentorship group, in the path to prosperity, I had to learn that there are times when you're going to be called out because, you
Mm.
know, they were good for calling people to the stage.
Mm.
And, you know, so me being on my journey and choosing to get on social media and you know, basically like turn my camera on like when we have Zoom meetings. Sometimes I don't, but you know, in Storm's group we do because
Mm.
Storm wants us to, you know, to be
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
But I appreciate it because it's taught me, you know, basically it's a matter of being present, right?
Right.
Because there are times when if my, you know, your camera is off, some people might be off doing chores or whatever. I'm here like looking at the screen as if I'm looking at people, right? Like this, like they're seeing me, but because it's comfortable, right?
Right.
But I do think that it's important for people to learn about people, learn about the introvert, so that you'll know how to
Exactly.
celebrate them. So I'm going to just read one thing from the book, right? So, give introverts genuine, individualized recognition for their accomplishments and life milestones. Instead of throwing big, expensive parties, consider more personal and meaningful methods of celebrating, such as private dinner with close friends or a sincere handwritten note expressing gratitude. Now, that goes back to your dad with the gift and how he basically accepted it, graciously and put it away, because I feel like sometimes the smaller things like the handwritten note or like something small, because I think sometimes we think that there's thought put into it, right? So
Exactly.
the hand, you know what I mean? You took time out to basically consider something meaningful to write on a piece of paper. So I do think that it's important for people to be mindful. Yeah. See, the whole party thing, the whole celebrating. Woo.
Yeah. Also, yeah. I also think that my father, something that just came to me when you were saying that was that he probably I probably would never have got him the gift that he really wanted or like. I don't even know if he was so introverted
Mhm.
that I don't even know if he allowed himself to dream about a gift. I used to ask my mother sometimes. It's like, did I want like a Rolex or? I just ask her different questions. She's like, I don't really know. And I'm like, you married to the man, like 37 years. Like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, who, what? Um, but she didn't even know. So I don't know if some people on this planet, they don't allow themselves to really be celebrated. So that's another slight challenge with the concept of celebrating another person, is that they don't allow for a celebration in their life, like how do you celebrate them, right? And so when you were talking about that, about the gift, I was thinking, you know what? I never even asked him what gift that what was it that he really wanted. And I don't know if he would have ever told me, like, oh, I really want a car. Or, no, he wasn't that type of person. But I definitely think it's still, like, at 53, I would have probably, if I could go back in time, would probably have loved to have had those moments to ask him what he wanted and to see
Mhm.
him struggle with trying to tell me, like, so that I would have that time, and that would be also part of the tapestry of my memories of him. And I think that's sort of concept with celebration, is that, yeah, you're celebrating the person that you should be, and
Mhm.
you're celebrating their achievements, but you're also creating a memory.
Yep.
And so if you do it right, then you get this great, this great time capsule of their expression, about how they felt, just um, their awkward laugh or how they, but you know, I think a lot of times we look at ourselves and judge ourselves by, did I come through for the person and give them what they wanted, and then so that if they're excited and happy, like, yeah, I did a good job. If they're not super excited and happy, like, ah, oh, dang, I messed up. Um, but I also think that we, in that same space, we don't give ourselves credit for. People always say this: it's not the gift that counts; it's the thought, right?
It's true.
So, in that space of thinking about another human being and individual, and for them to really understand, yeah, I put some time and energy into this conversation. I put some time and energy into this. I didn't just grab something off the shelf, or go through your what you call it, your visit history in your web browser, and see that you came to this thing twice. Um, but I actually thought about you, and I think that that's to me the overarching achievement of
Mhm.
celebrating is really to convey that information. One, you matter. I see you, and that you are well thought about in my thoughts.
Mhm. So I'm gonna use my mom as an example, because I like, so you said a lot just now, right? That kind of like resonated, right? It resonated
Hmm.
because I feel like there's some of us who are very simple, right? Like, and I guess because of the way that I was brought up with my mom saying, like, don't look at what anybody have because you don't know how they got it, blah, blah, blah. So for me, you know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, I'm okay with basically the little things, right? Like, I feel like if there's something that I want for myself, I'd go and get it. But what COVID taught me was that I have a lot. I have a lot of clothes. I have a lot of shoes. Um, and so therefore, like, so a lot of people would say, oh, to your point, I want a Rolex, or I want a car, I want to, like, and none of those things fascinate me, right? Not that I have it, and not that I have a whole heap of money that I can go get it if I wanted to, but I am that more simple person. Like my mom tells people, right? If you have flowers to give me, do not wait until I'm dead to throw it in a grave, because that's a waste. Give me the flowers now so that I can appreciate it. And she's not talking like, she's talking both like
Symbolic.
physically, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, sometimes it is just time, right? So I
Right.
feel like if you ask your dad, there was probably nothing grandiose, right? So basically, because I think that sometimes it's just a simple thing as sitting down with someone and having a conversation, like being willing to just hear them, right?
Exactly.
So I within my family, I uh, tasked myself with basically creating my family tree back in '09 and there and afterwards. And I had the grand, great old pleasure of having conversations with some people who are now basically gone, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the elders, some like a grand uncle and some other like elders that I was able to get information from. Now it was scary for me because to basically call these people and say, hi, I'm so and so, blah 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 blah, to get information. But I think for me, I knew that I was doing it for a bigger purpose than myself, right? So but now that they're gone, and when I hear like the younger folks saying, oh, I wish I had more time, I'm thinking, oh boy. Because I was able to basically have time with some of their parents, and they
Right.
didn't, basically get that information. And so I do think that it's important to know the person, because sometimes you may give someone a gift and they just put it down because they don't want that. Maybe they just
Right.
want a glass of water. Maybe they just want to have like tea with you, because to them that might be more meaningful.
Right. And that comes in, I think, sort of comes under, you do this celebration for me. I think I do celebrating for two things. I do it because um, I genuinely want that person to know that I care, and
Hmm.
here's, happy birthday, and here's why I'm celebrating you. But the other side of it is, you also, if we're gonna be honest, you do it for yourself. You do it for selfish reasons. So be like, listen, well, at least I do. Like, listen, I want to make this person happy. I want to like nudge them and tell them, well, you matter, that. So it's like they may not necessarily accept, to your point about being a simple person, and they might not accept. When I get to the point where I'm able to give people cars like Oprah and say, you got a car, you got a car, you got a car, I have no problem doing that. Well, also, and because I'm really a very wide person, so it might be a tiny house, or it might be a garden shed that it'll be something that they're like, wow, that was too much. Why would you do that? And I'm doing it mainly for me, because I'm doing it for them to use. This is a useful thing. But I'm also
Hmm.
doing it for me, because I'm like, you know what? Not for nothing. I've never. I want people to experience stuff that I haven't experienced. If that makes sense. And
Yeah.
so it's on a selfish, selfish note, because I'm pushing something that either I did not receive,
Hmm.
or and maybe I wish I received it, or even the thought process of it. So like, wow, somebody actually took time to check my backyard out, or they took time to talk to my wife, or they took time and money and did this thing. And I always feel like when I read those type of stories, a person comes home and they're like, someone bought you a car, like what? Or what happened? Um, and a car, I don't know what kind of police talking about. It's not just a car, but something that is really thoughtful, and it's material. And like you
Hmm.
said, some people are just they're simple. They're not. I don't want that. But I still got it. Get it for them, even though they don't want it per se. But I know they will appreciate it, and
Hmm.
that's the tricky part about being selfish, celebrating people that don't want to necessarily be celebrated, is if you can get it right, you're doing a good job.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're overstepping. And the thing about it is, they will appreciate it. They don't necessarily want it, but they'll appreciate it.
The effort.
What do you call it? A bread maker, or
Hmm.
something. That's a device that the person uses in the kitchen, or uses, in their tool shed. It's like, wow, like you thought, I like the concept in my head at least that you, again, it's a tricky balance, not overstepping, but like, you really thought about like somebody who might be, I don't know, they might have not asthma, they have we call it the thing with your allergies, and you get them a free allergy shot at the beginning of the season. Like, that's a weird gift. It's like, but thank you. I am going to use it though. It's like, because every year they're like the saddest.
Yeah, then it's something that's useful.
And you honestly, sometimes you just don't want to hear somebody complain about the sinuses bother them. So if you can get, because it's like, dude, every year this happens. You know what's gonna happen. So can we like jump ahead, get to the shot, and get to the what's the, oh yeah, nah. This year, here it is. It's like,
So that means that you actually did it for yourself, not for them. You just don't want to hear.
That part. Yeah. But it's useful. So
yeah, it is.
It's a tricky thing, and I think that's the thing that where the society we live in now, where people are trying to be radically, honest and selfish. I mean, radically honest and self-centered about America first, this, that, whatever the thing is. I think there is everything has a good and a bad to it, and I think the good side of people being radically honest is like, okay, now I know you're an a-hole. Got it. Thanks. You need to hide it. You share wearing your shirt. You're wearing it on your hat. You're walking down the street yelling at people. Okay, great. Thank you for telling us. So, because otherwise, 6 years ago we had no idea you were, but that was all festering inside. Great, coming out. So I think that's the thing that's interesting about where we are, and being honest about what our feelings are. Yes, I do want to see this person be celebrated, but also I want to give them something that wasn't given to me. So it is for me, but I know the balance of that is to not like give them something they definitely don't need, don't want, and it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I am going to do something that they would never do for themselves, and it makes me feel good that I was able to do something for them that they would never do for themselves. But I know it's useful. I know that they appreciate it.
And they'll so the crazy thing, right? And I guess this might be hypocritical because while I don't like it for myself, I don't mind doing it for others, right? So I don't mind planning.
That's an introvert thing, I think.
Huh?
That's an introvert thing, I think.
I think so because I like, so there have been times when I've been tasked or I volunteered to plan a surprise whatever for someone, right? And I never think, well, maybe they don't want it. Because so and the latest one was at work last year. There was someone in our group that was pregnant. And we planned a surprise baby shower. Now we didn't have much information about her, but to your point, I went on Amazon. Like I basically went to see where she was registered and basically got the information, sent out the email to the company saying, shh, don't say nothing, this way she's registered, and we gave instructions like, do not allow don't have the gift delivered before this particular date, which was going to be the date when we celebrated her in the office. And so we every month we have an event in the office, so we planned it on that date so it wouldn't look weird, like it wasn't gonna like, what's going on. And when she realized it was for her, she was like, oh my god. and she said, how did you guys get it past me? How? And I was like, and someone said, Antonia. And I said, look, I'm an event planner too. Maybe not by trade, but I plan events and I know how to figure it out. And she was quite happy, right? Because again, there was thought put into it, right? So like I did the homework to find out like where she was registered, and it wasn't anything like over the top or anything like that, but I think people like to know that people are considered. And then so while I don't like it myself, I do like planning for others, because they do appreciate it. They do like to know that someone thought of them enough to basically celebrate them. Because I think one of the things, as we grow older, we're celebrated less and less. And, and so I don't know, like, I don't know if I'd ever be comfortable walking in a room where people say surprise. It's like, oh no, anxiety.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You know, you could. The only way it'd be cool. This is a thought just popped in my head when you said that. Would be like if somebody knew you, what I would probably do to surprise you with is walking around and it's silence, but we're all having a sign that says surprise.
You know what? That might that might work. That might work.
And then I have the signs of surprise and the other signs.
Right.
Yeah.
That might work.
Or another one is I saw this couple do this. It's so funny. They had the surprise on one side. They flip it over. The other side is a person's face, like a surprise. And it's like how like somebody got them years ago. They're like, and so everybody is. And I was like, that was too much. That was too much. Like, you went back 7 years, got the pillow, then you made print it out, then you made put it on sticks. So like, come on, son. You can't tell. But I get the. To your point, one last thing I wanted to say was that about you, how you feel, and I feel the same way. Is that, or I feel the same way, but also I'm going to say additionally, it's difficult for me to accept not surprises per se, but accept a loving, thoughtful, intentional gift because I don't really see myself that way. So even though I do that for others, I don't see. I guess I haven't really done it for myself, and so I know this is about celebration, about how to celebrate an introvert. But I also think that part of this process in discussing introversion and looking inward is to see, are you a person that, why are you not super, okay with somebody else saying, hey, I love you, I really appreciate you, you impacted me this way, here's a gift. And when I don't know how to take it, when a lot of times, I think as I got older, I'm okay with it now. I'm a lot better than I was when I was younger. When I was younger, I would just be like, this doesn't feel right. Something. I was like, it's I met this one girlfriend. She was like, why do you hate yourself so much? I was like, no, not for nothing, but you saying that reminds me that we should not do this. So I didn't say that to her, but I definitely that was the end. That was the beginning of the end. But she had a point, kind of, in a sense. I was like, why do I not like, why don't I feel like, and it's so funny. Well, for me at least, it's funny when I dive into that feeling because the stuff that comes up out of that is it's not what people would think. So I'm like, oh, okay. I grew up by myself, so I have younger brothers, but it was 10 years. So I never really learned to share. So one of the things I worked on myself was I go over to the humble side or to the humility side, so that keeps my selfish monster at bay. So when I do get the gift, and so at least I gotta, my initial thought process is, ooh, that monster's getting ready to get out. Like, no, put him back in the cage. No, so it's like, but as I got older, I learned how to deal with it better. But it was just really interesting about the concept of somebody else celebrating you and why you're not totally, okay with it. And because it feels so, even if it's it's a really good gift, it's a really intentional gift. Sometimes, I remember my first one was my aunt had gave me these roses made out of dollar bills when I graduated high school. I think it was 87, no 88, and I had never seen that, and I was like, whoa, auntie, And so I kept that arrangement for like a year. Then I started unraveling them and spinning them. It was so beautiful. It was these long stem dollar bills made out of roses, and she had put like some kind of red velvet material around them, so you couldn't necessarily see they were money. It wasn't dollar bills. It was like 100. Nice. So I was like, whoa, how many? I think I might have counted once, but I don't remember it. I was definitely over $3,000. But I was like, wow, and nobody had ever given me that much money. And also, my graduation out of high school was bittersweet. So it was like we were moving to a different part of the state, And so I didn't really get a chance to celebrate, quote unquote. Actually, and technically, my graduation party was not at all where I lived at. It was in a whole new city, in a whole new county. So I had none of my people came to it. It's just my family. So I was, I was kind of bitter, but at the same time, I was happy to have the party. So it was just interesting. So I'm thinking of that space of how I said, I want to keep this arrangement. I really like it, really appreciate it, and I don't want to touch it. And I really self-discipline myself to just look at it every day and feel good about it, but not necessarily think of it as a utilitarian. I think once my aunt came to my room and was like, "You still got that? You ain't spent that?" She was like, "No." I was like, "It's a birthday gift. You're supposed to spend it. You graduation, you're supposed to spend it." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but no, it's just no." So it's been a journey in learning to accept the celebration.
Yeah.
Which I don't demand it, but I kind of do of others. So why don't I do that for myself? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny because I don't know if it's an us thing, right? But the way
Uh,
that you said that you held on to the gift, I do the same. I don't know if it's for sentimental. I don't know if it's because I don't get it that frequently, so I just hold on to it.
mhm.
But like when I receive gifts from certain people, especially, I hold on to it. Like one of my friends gave me a Krispies treat, and he wrote a message on it, and I kept it. And he was like, "Why did you eat? Why did you eat it?" And I was like,
It's so
"No,
special.
right, right, right." Because they had like a space on the bar for you to write a message, and he wrote a message. And I think that sometimes,
Right, because you
um,
take it out the bar. If you take it out the wrapper, then it's not like the same thing. This is weird. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
it's not the same, right? Because I mean, because to me, like it's a whole package.
Yep.
It's the thingy itself plus, and I mean, what am I gonna eat it for? Right? My sister once gave me roses, and I saved some. Some people sometimes you hang it upside for it to dry.
Yes. Yes.
So I hold on to things so that I can remember certain events.
In moments
Um,
of time.
yeah, like even if it was just like a lunch date or dinner date or what to have you with one person. Because it was a moment that I appreciated. If I didn't like it, then it's like trash, whatever. I don't care. But but I think for the most part, the people who I allow in my space, I like spending time with them because my circle of friends, it was small to begin with, and it has dwindled down to
Yeah.
dust for the most part, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because I think that as I grow to learn and understand myself more, I realize that some people who, was in my circle that were friends and probably still are, they're now in different like compartments.
Yes.
What I'm saying? Because I was saying to someone today that I'm choosing where to go and with whom I want to basically expend my energy. Because, gone are the days that I will go someplace like if mommy's going just to go, right? If I don't want to go, I don't want to go. Like I'm not going because I love where I am now. Like I love the happiness that I'm enjoying right now. And I feel like it took a lot of work to get here. Like when was it? I think it was on Thursday or Friday, I was here working from home, and I saw a post in WhatsApp where an elder church sister's 23-year-old grandson passed away.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my God, right? I tried to call, and I spoke to her finally this evening. And I realized as we grow older, right, death means something different. Like what I always go like, oh my God, right? And as we grow
Yeah.
older. And so that's why I feel like when we celebrate people, it should be with intention and it should be
It's a good
for
point.
good reason. And I think that that's why like when I celebrate people, I celebrate them. Like I put thought into what I'm doing, how I'm going to do it, and how it's going to be executed. Right? Some people basically say, "Hey, let's just to get together and have some drinks and food." No,
Yeah.
I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if it's not for good reason with the right people, it's
Right.
just an energy drain. Like it really is an energy drain. And then
Sometimes a
I'd rather
distraction
be
too.
garden, huh?
I said sometimes a distraction too.
Yeah. I went to Home Depot today, and the driver, who was Hispanic, I don't know which country he's from, and I got mulch, and he was asking, does it have chemicals, what have you? And he said, he had pets and he said he has rabbits, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I thought he said 3, but mommy said he has 6, and then he said, I'm single, and and my pets, like, so I said, oh, that's wonderful because pets bring you joy, and he's like, yes, it's so nice. And I said, oh, they're your friends, and he said yes, right? And I think that as we grow older, it kind of like just basically dwindles down to that, like, because if you have a pet, it's not going to give you a lot of like aggravation and just saying.
As long as they're healthy, because if they're unhealthy, boy, that stuff.
Dinner. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's a pet brand. It's a dog brand. It's a pet food brand that sends the owners, when the owners cut the order for the pet pass, then they send them flowers in the pet name. And this is a guy, excuse me, was talking about on the podcast how no other company does that. And so this person in the comment section, this is probably the best way to end this. The person in the comment section said, "Oh my God, yes, they did that." And because my father passed, and he was the one that did the dog. He did the dog food order, and so I contacted him, let him know, Dad passed, and we're giving the dog to somebody else. They sent flowers for my dad. And I was like, I get the sentiment, but I don't know. So it's one of those things where when you celebrate somebody, it's your intention. It's a, why did I intend to do this? And what, and that person was super appreciative. Like, oh my God, nobody's ever done it. It was so cool for a corporation that, and I'm thinking to myself, it's like, yeah, they paid for those flowers. Right. Okay, I get it. Because the guy did the video was like, it only cost them $24. They made over like $4,500, per person. It's $24. Like that. So I was like, yeah, it's one of those things where, what's your intention? How are you doing it? Doing it the most intelligent way possible within your intention. I call it intentional intelligence. And being honest, like I do like seeing people happy, and I do like seeing a really good, well thought out gift person that can appreciate it and that is also slightly perturbed that I did it.
Right. You shouldn't have. But I did.
It's like, now I gotta go change my insurance because you gave me a car, and now it's like, well, it's like that sometimes. Right?
Yeah. No, for real. I think that that's the thing about it, because I'm sure that if you purchase someone a car, you would know that that's what they need, right? It's not just, what I'm saying, because and again, like, I think that some of us actually do think, because that's it is, like, just think about like what it is that they like. If someone likes to run, get them something, running sneakers, or get them a membership someplace or whatever have you. Yeah. Get them a spa day so that they can get massaged. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude,
yeah.
It's expensive to be in these marathons. And you buy them an entry, in their favorite marathon they run every now and then. Buy them, pay the entrance fee.
Right. Yeah. So basically what we're saying, everyone, is be thoughtful. Like, be thoughtful about like how you celebrate people.
Especially introverts.
I was gonna say introverts and others, but especially introverts, yes. And when you give an introvert a gift, and if they look dry, don't think that they don't appreciate it. They appreciate it. They might not just have the energy to express it in that moment, or it probably wasn't a carefully thought out gift. I mean,
yeah. So check with us. We'll let you know.
Yes. Drop in the comments below.
DM, don't put it, because the internet will come for you. So don't put it in comments unless you got iron feelings. DM us. We'll subscribe,
Yes.
share, like, watch, but don't put it in the comment section.
Oh my goodness. Well, this was a nice episode. Again, this is our new channel, Always on Mute. It's no longer on the Antonia and Dr Corner. We're happy that you're here. Please subscribe. Please subscribe, and we'll let you know where you can get our merch.
That's right.
um,
All this good quality merch we got, you know.
yes,
Good quality merch.
yes.
Feels so good.
It's like a baby's blanket. It's unisex. I don't know. Well, it's unisex, so it fits. Like it really fits
Wear it
nicely.
as a scarf if you need to.
Yeah.
And the winter, that's not gonna be a winter, but no.
Right. So get our merch and also get my book.
For summertime too. It's short sleeve, so it's right in time for summertime.
It's right on time for summertime. Yep. It's right, and it's right on time for gifts also. If you want to get somebody a gift, always on mute. Get it for your introverted friend, and also get the book for your introverted friend. Let me see. Get it in focus. Here you go. So it's Unlocking the Introvert, a pocket guide to understanding and interacting with introverts. Small, right? And it's basically like just little tips on how to fill in the blank with your introvert. All right.
How many chapters is it?
It is 17.
Yeah, so it's not little tips. It's 17 good tips.
Yes, and it's great tips.
17 good tips.
It's great tips.
Not little. Not
Thank you, Dr. Pratt.
yeah.
So thank you for joining us once again, and we'll see you next time. Please subscribe, like, comment below, and share this video with someone who is introverted in your life who can basically benefit from these conversations. So until next time, peace out.